will see how to create a deployment for Kubernetes in our GitHub action. So as in the last video, you have seen that we have created a GitHub workflow and created a YML extension file. After that, we have created a extension for the YML file and added a workflow and committed the changes. Now in this video, we will be able to create a Kubernetes folder, guys. This is the one which we will create, and in that we will create a deployment.yml file. And if the readme is we want to create, then it is not mandatory, but you can create it. Okay, so first for this I will draft the yml file. As you know, this is my sample yml file which I have created using our chat GPT, and this is the simplest file. So thereafter I will go to my Chrome browser, and from there I will create it. So let's go to github.com, and from there I will create the github, create a workflow in our existing GitHub actions. There I have the repository name git kind ci. Okay, and here I will create a, in the workflow I will go, and here I can create a separate file, a YAML file. So from there I can create a new file. This is the workflow. I have to create a folder with the deployment.yml file. Okay, so here I will add a file here, create a new file. So for adding a new file, I will have to give the name. We are doing it in main, so I will give it as a folder k8. Then in that k8, under this file would be responsible for managing the clustering. Means it would be enable us to communicate with the deployment. So which kind of deployment I am talking here, guys? We are communicating with Kubernetes, means it is a service through which our deployment is running. So the deployment will be taking, it's our load balancer which is managing the deployment, which is taking the data and distributing the traffic. So here I will talk about the nginx some points. So nginx we are using in deployment, guys. So this would be acting as a web server, and which would be helpful as a load balancer. So what is the task of load balancer now? So basically load balancer which would be responsible to distribute the traffic. Okay, suppose I have multiple requests coming here from multiple sources. Okay, now suppose this is the web, and the second one I will say this is the DB, and this is the, let's say, SQL service. So first one is web, and second one is suppose DB. This is the DB, and the last one, let's say, some kind of payment integration we have done. So I will write it as payment. Okay. Now this load balancer decides for nginx which request is going to which server. Suppose a user request there from the load balancer that I have to go to redirect to login page. So it will go to the web here. Okay. And suppose if the user, if he wants to communicate with the database, he want to take the list of users who is having the, who has made the payment till the last month, so it will communicate with the DB. In the same way, if the load balancer wants to know that a customer has done the payment, then it will redirect the traffic to payment. So in that way we will continue our nginx deployment. So this is the deployment file, and this I will simply, it will route the traffic. So what are the specifications? This will be the replica sets, which would be replicas. We are taking one, and selector, this is the match labels. Now here the application which is nginx we have written here, and which is a containerized application through which our nginx will be running it, and which port you want to run. So it will give the port number, let's say port number 80. So this is the sample file which we pulled it, which we created it using ChatGPT, and this file we can copy here, and we'll simplify the deployment here. We'll paste it here. You can also format it by means of let's say yeah, YML formatter. This is the preview of the file. Okay, or else you can also copy it in notepad, and from there you can easily paste it. So that will be avoid any kind of backspaces for when we run the pipelines. Okay, I will do the YML formatter here, guys. YML formatter online. So searching this, it will rectify the and it will format it very subsequent way. So we'll load the data. I will paste simply here. Okay, so it will give the sample data. Means it will give the format. This I will copy and this I will paste it here on GitHub. I will close this and here I will control A, control C, control V. Okay. So this is the file which is running. It will run when on push branches. It will push to main branch, pull request. It will pull the branch. Now what job it will do? It will do a job of kind CI because we have created a workflow kind CI.yml. So it will read this file and after that it will run on Ubuntu latest, which is a Ubuntu machine from which we have deployed our app, and this is the checkout repo. It will do the checkout and once it will set up the kubectl, it will set up a version 4 it uses, and with the version it will give install the kind. The next instruction, it will pull the curl library from the kind repos and thereafter it will create the cluster. After that it will verify the cluster, then now run. In that there is a pipe operator which would be defining the cluster information and what all things it will need for managing the deployment. Okay, so that it will check here in the k deployment.yml file. Actually this we have done in our this is the kind file which we have to avoid, and k-test when we go, so this file we will copy basically, not that one. This is we have already done. Okay, now I will again load the YML formatter. YML formatter online. So that will format our the YML file. Now once this YAML file will gets uploaded, we will continue our nginx deployment. It will pull the nginx image and it will route the traffic to our this file which is workflow kind ci.yml. Okay, so let me paste it on GitHub directly. Okay, this is pasted and we can see the preview here, loading preview. Or if you want any kind of spaces are there, you can paste in notepad and from there you can directly cut and copy paste. Okay, you will edit it here. So this file is very simple to understand. Here we are doing the nginx and we will write the name of the deployment, and now I will do the commit changes. This is my step guys after the deployment. Okay, once the deployment gets completed, I will do the commit the changes. So what this pipeline does is it creates a single node cluster and it will use the GitHub based hosted runners. So for this, I will now commit the changes, and here it is, see, Copilot mode is thinking. So it will give us the suggestions on which we can write the best like a line or commit message to understand other developers. Okay, now here if they wants to create a new branch for this commit and start a pull request, no, we will commit directly to the main branch. So let's hit commit and saving changes. Let's see. So this is our second deployment workflow guys, which is inside the k8s folder. Now when we run the deployment, it will because we've encountered the errors in the last deployment when we see the history, because it won't file the deployment.yml file, YAML file. So that's the reason we created this file again, which is our YAML file, and now we have initiated the deployment again. So we will, it will, this is verified, and now we will click on workflow and we will again commit the changes. Okay, so here when I go to GitHub workflow, this is the main, and from there when I go to GitHub actions, I will go, and this is now today, and here this is the runners which I am talking about. So which self, this is a GitHub hosted runners, means what it will do, it will host our applications for the Ubuntu latest image. Your Windows image is there, or that image is there, it will load that image and will run the our repos, our workflows. Okay, so let's go to our first. I will clear the cache here, so there are no caches which are good to go, and then we will run the deployment. Let's view workflow file. If you want to view, see, this is the HCI workflow for Kubernetes deployment. This is the add Kubernetes deployment configuration for nginx. So this is we will see the workflow file. We will rerun this job, rerun all the jobs, so that this job will also run, and we would be able to run the workflow. So this will take around 1 to 2 minutes, depending upon the configuration. Let's see, this queue is in progress. You will see that now it will be able to read the deployment.yaml file. So let's wait once it is completed. So I hope you got an idea like how our workflow is managed in our GitHub actions, and from there we how we can manage the GitHub hosted runners as well as the self-hosted runners. And in the same way, we can recommit or rerun the workflow in order to perform the deployment. See, guys, the duration is also, it is showing here 38 seconds. So I hope you have understood the video. If any doubts, please stay tuned and comment. Thank you for watching.